Hello and a very warm welcome, everyone. We are all set for today's very special and pertinent fireside chat on advancing higher education in India, which is part of our thought leadership series brought to you by ETHRWorld and Coursera. According to recent research by the World Economic Forum, the number of skills required to do a job is increasing by 6% year on year. Skill taxonomies across sectors have diversified, and to align talent with the ever-evolving industry requirements, synergetic efforts of industry and academia towards talent development are needed. Through this exclusive conversation, we aim to initiate a productive dialogue on revamping India's higher education landscape to unlock new horizons for transformation and growth. And without any further ado, let me introduce to you our esteemed guests and eminent representatives of the academic as well as the industrial society who have graced us for this topical chat. First up, we have with us Mr. Ajit Chauhan, who's chairman for Amity Online. Hi, Ajit. Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. And next up, our industry speaker would be Prashasti Rastogi, who's director for Coursera. Hi, Prashasti. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to some great insights on how we can bridge the skills gap, how online education can be taken one step ahead of where we are already. So I'd like to start by, I'd like to begin the discussion. Given the raging employability crisis, increasingly more students are demanding industry-relevant learning opportunities to upgrade and align their skill sets as per the ever-evolving disposition of employers in today's VUCA economy. So Ajit, I'd like to ask you first, how can online universities prepare for the increasing demand for flexible, personalized, and industry-relevant learning experiences?
Thank you very much, Yasmin. And that's a very relevant question. And you're right that it is a pertinent question being asked by all students across all kinds of programs that they're enrolled in. And it is the responsibility of any university to ensure that the programs are, content ready with employability skills, with relevant skills of today's digital requirement, of India and any job requirement, that exists. Unfortunately, there are many universities who have been running content, old content, for the past many decades. We really equip our content in our programs with industry-ready skills by tying up with industry bodies, renowned corporates, and embedding their content into our online programs. You rightly said that online programs offer a flexible and personalized approach. And that is an advantage that online programs have over several even traditional programs. And but if done right, and Prashasti, I'm sure, can validate Coursera is doing a great job in it. But it is, like I mentioned, the responsibility of the education provider to ensure that students are equipped with the right skills. And in today's day and age, students aren't asking for much. There's some basic skills that are required for a student to be employable. Basic skills like personality development, communication skills, presentation skills. These are some basic needs that a student has to be able to maneuver in the corporate environment today. And of course, then the digital skills that need to be topped up with it, but it is any institution's responsibility.
Great. Thanks, Ajit. Thanks for sharing that. Very enlightening. I must say, what I catch on from this is relevance is what students are looking for, right? How relevant is the education system for them? How easily can they be employed? Do they have the right skills? Are their universities helping them build on those skills? And that's the demand. And if academia and industry can come together and build upon those, I think that's the way forward. So thanks for sharing that. Coming back to get an industry perspective on this, Prashasti, I'd like to ask you, how do you see India's online higher education landscape shaping up? What are the key trends or priorities you're hearing from leaders all across?
Thank you, Yasmin. I actually resonate with what Mr. Chauhan was saying, right? In this world of today, there are 4 top things that are on minds of academic leaders around the world. And at Coursera, we work with about 3,000 plus campuses worldwide. So this is a perspective I'm sharing from what we hear. One is how to strengthen academic excellence and deliver what the students will require in the real world. Second is how to drive student employability and therefore increase placements. Third is obviously grow rankings and brand perception, be competitive. And fourth is, at the same time, accelerate revenue growth. This is something which top of the mind recall is there for industry as well as educators globally. And there are various interventions that we've seen. Academic leaders, I'm sorry, my throat is a little on the downside today. Academic leaders bring to their institutions of learning to deliver these 4 outcomes. One is they're all looking at increasing collaboration. They're looking at cutting edge global content that is available globally and how it can be integrated into the curriculum, learn from the best practices that are already available, and deliver the skills to the students. The second thing that Mr. Chauhan also pointed out is how to involve industry as an educator. There's something that we're seeing very clearly. For a very long time, there has been a debate between industry and academia saying, we don't get the students that are employable, and industry is saying, but we are doing a lot, right? So now industry has gone into academic institutions to collaborate and deliver something that we popularly hear being called as industry micro-credentials to develop skills as students. The third intervention, which is very, very pertinent, is building talent pipelines. So when student employability is being enhanced, you're also creating students ready for the jobs of the future. So how many qualified career starters pass out of a university system? And all of this is only happening on the back of something which is very important called faculty enhancement. How do you develop the faculty? How do you empower the faculty in this fast changing dynamic environment to deliver those skills for jobs that have not been created today, but the student will take 3 years, 4 years from now when she passes out of the university. So this is typically what we see very frequently in our conversations.
Thanks, Prashasti. Thanks for sharing that. I also totally agree that the role that industry needs to play in academia it's really, really enhanced in the past few years. We've seen that happen a lot. And I think that's the way forward also, as you said, faculty getting enhanced, introducing micro-credentials. I think, online learning, putting that emphasis on, picking up skills online, I think for students has become very, very crucial as well. So thanks for sharing that. Coming back to you, Ajit, I think as the future of learning and work undergoes rapid transformation, how are you meeting the demand for developing emerging skills and career paths in digital jobs?
Well, that's a very good question. And, and I just want to add to the previous answer that, one of the top skills that is also required by students these days is because the future is so volatile. Like you said, we're living in a VUCA world. Jobs of today or subjects that students are learning today might not have relevance tomorrow because of AI and ChatGPT, and we're hearing people getting laid off on a daily basis. And this is why the factor of learnability becomes so important, and the soft skills become so important. But even after the student passes out of university or college, he or she are still able to learn and adapt to an environment which is volatile and VUCA, like you mentioned. So I just wanted to add to that answer. But emerging skills and digital skills in today's day and age are most relevant, apart from, of course, soft skills. And we are doing it by embedding industry-relevant content into our curriculum, into our programs, even from the first semester itself. We don't wait for specializations or the third or fourth or sixth semester. By introducing and exposing our students to industry veterans and people from subject matter experts from areas in AI or cybersecurity or digital marketing, and making sure that students are really, learning the right and relevant content for today at least, and with the factor of learnability and soft skills being also able to adapt to tomorrow. So, this is how we are actually training our students, Yasmin.
Great, thank you. I think I totally agree with you. It's about identifying what will be the skills for today and for the future, and bringing in those kind of collaborations that universities can look at, and then building up those skills for your students going forward. So thanks for sharing that, Ajit. Thank you so much. With that, let me move on to my next question. And Prashasti, I'd like to come to you first. Multiple studies have gone to show that the knowledge gap that persists in the domestic job market today is due to lack of industry orientation among freshers. As we're seeing more campuses integrating global online content for credit to close curriculum gaps and also ramp up industry-focused learning, how is Coursera enabling this for institutions, and what is the impact you're able to drive with industry-aligned curriculum?
Great question, actually. So I'll set up a little bit of a context here to make you understand what students are saying. So as Coursera, what we did was we did a student and employer survey globally. And the scale of survey spanned about 10 to 11 countries. And we went to students there and employers there and asked, what do they value when they are choosing a university program as a student and when they're hiring an entry-level candidate as an employer? The response that we got was, in the student fraternity, 96% of the students said that they agree that a professional certificate, and that refers back to the point that I was saying, industry is becoming an educator, will help them advance their careers towards or suitability towards a job. And 81% of the students said they are more likely to enroll for a program which has some sort of professional certificate which is aligned to a particular job skill already embedded into their program for credit. So not only students want to learn that skill, they also want to learn that skill as part of the curriculum and be rewarded credits for learning that skill. And the employers at the same time, and about 86% of the employers in India itself, and about 77% employers globally, said they are more likely to consider a candidate if the candidate comes with a professional certificate demonstrating certain skills. And this is what is data coming from the consumer as well as the employer. So the job seeker and the job giver both are saying this. So what we did at Coursera is Coursera promotes stackable learning. So there are various ways in which universities can shape up a curriculum using Coursera. But we introduced something called professional certificates, which are 125 different professional certificates leading to some skills that would enable students or working professionals to do certain job roles. And what we introduced early last year was something called Career Academy. Through Career Academy, we enable universities to prepare students for the most fast-paced emerging job roles. There's a guided pathway available to a student. And Career Academy is a collection of certificates authored by the best in the industry. So the employers who create those jobs, as well as the employers who train for those jobs, have joined hands with Coursera to power this Career Academy. For example, if you were to want, if a student desires to become a social media marketer, who best other than Meta to teach social media marketing? So Meta came to Coursera and authored a professional certificate on social media marketing for students to train towards social media marketing roles. Similarly, Google came in with data analyst, Salesforce came in with Salesforce development representative, SAP came up with technical consultant role, and these are all powered towards job-aligned skills. And this is how we are enabling universities to take that benefit directly from industry and pass it on to their students.
Thanks, Sushasti. I think it's very interesting to know that that employers and employees both think likewise, firstly, when it comes to having those right skills, those kind of professional qualifications. So that's interesting. At least the vision is clear for us as to where we are supposed to be headed to. So thanks for sharing that. And secondly, your examples on how industry became an educator. I think that's bang on. I think that's the way forward. If you want to build the skills for tomorrow, let industry decide and work on that with you. So thanks for sharing that. Coming back to you, Ajit, as an academician, how do you envision the role of online universities in promoting lifelong learning and upskilling in an era which is riddled with rapid technological change?
Well, in a two-word answer, it's a continuous process. You know, it's online learning enables learners to, of course, I don't have to market online learning anymore. We all it was during COVID, we all understood online learning well. But it is such an important component in today's day and age, because education is not a linear process, especially when we are in a world like today where jobs are changing, people are losing jobs. Skills requirements for the future might be different than today. So everything is volatile. Online learning plays and will continue to play a role where a professional or any student can, of course, upskill themselves at any time through certificates through Coursera or degrees through Amity Online. In today's day and age, we have about 50 degree programs being offered through Amity Online, and we're serving more than 30,000 degree learners across India and the world. And these are all learners who are adult learners, all learners who are beyond the age of 21, 22. So they've missed their traditional age of learning, doing a UG, PG degree. And we are seeing that in today's day and age as well. So these are students who could not complete their degree due to a professional reason, family reason, financial reason, did not get visas or whatever, for going abroad. And that is how we and several other players in the online education market today are making a difference in enabling them for their dreams to come true. Because at the end of the day, education is a means to an end. And what is that end? It's either a job or a career enhancement or developing abilities for entrepreneurial skills or whatever, or learning a new skill for tomorrow, or being able to cope with the demands of today. So online learning is already playing a crucial role in today's day and age, and it will continue to do so, I feel. As the regulatory system in India is improving, and in the online education space, the regulations are, pro-online, and the ecosystem is improving in terms of access to 5G today or devices. So not only the metros, but in today's day and age, at least we, and I'm sure Coursera also has learners across all pin codes of the country. And so we are really enabling real access, because the true definition of online education is access, right? Access and affordability. And that is what we're enabling today for learners across the metros and across all cities of India to be able to change their lives. Because at the end of the day, we as Amity are on a mission to impact lives, and impact lives through quality education, quality skills, enhancement and enablement of entrepreneurial skills. And we really feel that online education has given us a platform to reach those learners who were not reachable before because of accessibility and various other reasons that we all are aware about. So it will continue as the millennia who is, today kids who are, growing up in the digital age.
Yeah.
So as they get older, they would only want to upskill and skill themselves through digital technologies.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest reasons and the biggest cause that you're serving is making lives better, as you said. When you make education accessible, which was such a hard thing at one point in time, it's accessible, it's affordable, people can learn at any age. So it's kind of letting go of all biases also that were related to education and attaining something that can help you, you build a career or a life for yourself. So I think that's the most wonderful cause you could have come up with when it comes to online education. It has just made, education available to all. So thanks for sharing that, Ajit. I think it's a great cause. Moving on, the next question that I have for you, Ajit, is how at Amity Online are you building an environment of innovation and entrepreneurship?
Through various ways. We just launched our first AI professor enabled by ChatGPT.
Wow.
Her name is Professor Amy, and it's a her because women are better than men. And so that is, just one of the ways that, or that's the latest way that we have just enabled it last week, where, online education, another advantage of online education is personalized learning. And we've been saying that for the last 10 years. How will online education enable personalized learning? How can it enable adaptive learning? In today's day and age, it can, through ChatGPT, because now students have an immediate solution to any problem that they're going to. Professor Amy is enabled on our LMS, where students, while learning any subject, any module across our 50-degree programs, can ask any question at any time and get an immediate answer, immediate solution to their answer. So that is one of our most recent developments, taking advantage of ChatGPT. People have been talking about the disadvantage. Of course, there are many disadvantages, but with each disadvantage comes an advantage. And at Amity, we always try to look forwards, and we thought that this would be the best way to enable and use ChatGPT. But of course, then we have a learning management system, which is highly customized and mobile to enable learning on the go at any place, anywhere. But that is what online education has been talking about for a very long time. All systems can do that, but this is one of our most recent developments, Professor Ami.
That's quite a revolution, I must say. Making the best use of technology that you can. As you said, every disadvantage has an advantage. ChatGPT is not really here to take away everything for us. We can use it to our best advantage. And if the education system can revamp itself with the help of technology, and as you spoke about your new professor, Professor Ami, I think that's a great way to look at it. How entrepreneurship, how innovation in education can really, really pave the path for the future. So great examples. Thanks for sharing that, Ajit. Now, moving on to you, Prashasti, we know that the pandemic forced a shift to remote learning and demonstrated the potential of advanced technologies in not only enabling, but enhancing education even during challenging times. We just spoke about how conversational AI and intelligent tech like ChatGPT coming into play. Multiple avenues have evolved for higher ed and L&D. So my question to you would be, how do you foresee immersive learning with ChatGPT transforming the higher education landscape in India?
So one of the ways it's already transforming is Professor Emmy.
Yeah.
But I remember when ChatGPT was announced, right? By January, which is 2 months into its launch, it had already gotten 100 million monthly active users, right?
Mm-hmm.
It did not need a push for adoption. People wanted it. But at the same time, there was a divided debate between academia about what ChatGPT is going to do. I remember there was a headline in Forbes saying ChatGPT, a threat to education. Then there was an article that was circulated to me by someone in Coursera that said ChatGPT is a plague upon education.
My God.
And then obviously the debate started whether we are going to embrace it, whether we are going to reject it. At the same time, Coursera started building something called Coursera Coach, which we announced on 13th of April globally. So Coursera Coach is basically ChatGPT powered by Coursera. So we said the most debate around is ChatGPT's information to the user authentic, validated, and relevant? That is the basic debate, right? So if we ground it in expert content given by the university and the industry, which is Coursera, everything will become very simplified, validated, authentic, and real for everybody. So Coursera enabled Coach using ChatGPT into the platform. And now what it does is, if a student is learning something on Coursera, the student can ask relevant questions. The coach will guide the student with answers based on what input is given by the Coursera platform. So the content is very much, so to say, already validated and authentic. And it also guides the student towards various careers that those skills can give the student. What are the learning problems available? Our platform was always AI powered. We had a recommendation engine in it. We have just topped it with ChatGPT. And there are adoptions that are happening for ChatGPT in education quite clearly. On the other side, we're also thinking, how can ChatGPT help the educators? So we've come up with something called Course Builder, where an educator can practically pick up content from Coursera, top it up with their own content using generative AI models, and build on assessments and deliver to the students based on their own personalized outcomes. So grounded in expert content, personalized and interactive, and moving on from micro learning to careers is the foundation for ChatGPT that we see working for Coursera.
Great. Thanks, Prashasti, for sharing that. I think that's also adding on to what Ajit said. ChatGPT can be, actually adopted and be used for better advantages going forward. It's only about how you look at it and how you think it can be an ally and not something that not a threat actually for you. So thanks for sharing that. Finally, Ajit, I'd like to come back to you. You did talk about how you're using ChatGPT. Any other examples of what role do you see will immersive and generative AI play in shaping the future of higher education, according to you?
You use the right word, Yasmin, immersive learning. I do believe that in technical subjects of today, immersive learning will play a big role, be it virtual labs or virtual architecture, etc. I mean, similar subjects like this, which require more technical hands-on laboratory experiences. I believe immersive learning is already playing a large part today, where there are several products and programs available where students can log on to virtual labs, be it a chemistry lab, etc., and really go through the program. In medical, it'll play a big role, and one of the advantages of doing it immersively is that you can make as many mistakes as possible and learn through it, vis-a-vis doing it on an actual patient or a subject. So immersive really has that advantage. Immersive, virtual reality, AI, all of these technologies today are being used and will continue to get better. I believe that this is just version 1.0 or 2.0, and as we go forward, they'll become more optimized, more easy to use, more handy, and will be a major component in the education system. And people, and it's also that a lot of technology is available, but which institution will adopt it first or will adopt it continuously? We at Amity have always been front runners in adopting technology and best practices of the industry for our students, and will continue to do so.
Thanks for sharing that, Ajit. I think it's just beautiful to see how the entire higher education or the education space is evolving and creating newer broad horizons for people to gain education, making it accessible, making it available to everybody, affordable to everybody. I think the cause that it has overall to build more employability in the country, and universities like you, online universities like yours, and service providers like Coursera, I think you're playing a huge role in catering to this cause of bringing education to the doorstep of people, helping them become more employable, overall kind of adding to the evolution of the whole online and education landscape. So thank you so much for sharing these thoughts with that. With that, we come to the end of our discussion. It was a wonderful conversation. It brought up so many great insights around and advancing the higher education space in India. So thank you once again, Ajit, and thank you, Prashasti. It was a pleasure talking to the both of you.